The invitation had been clear, crystal clear, or so Maya thought. You are cordially invited to the wedding of Sarah Mitchell and David Chen. Saturday, June 15, 2024, 2 p.m. Rosewood Estate, Napa Valley. Maya had circled the date on her calendar 3 months ago, booked her flight from Boston, bought a lavender dress that cost more than her monthly grocery budget, and even sprung for a crystal vase from the registry. Sarah had been her college roommate, her confidant through 2 bad relationships and 1 existential crisis. There was no way she was missing this. The problem was, Maya had terrible navigation skills, and an even worse habit of not double-checking addresses. She stood now in front of what she assumed was Rosewood Estate, a gorgeous Victorian mansion with white columns and gardens that looked like something out of a fairy tale. Cars lined the circular driveway. People in formal attire streamed through the massive oak doors. This is definitely it, Maya muttered, smoothing down her dress and grabbing the gift bag from her passenger seat. She was wrong. Inside, the venue was breathtaking. Cream-colored roses hung from every surface. String lights twinkled overhead. A string quartet played softly near a marble fountain. Maya scanned the crowd for Sarah's familiar face, her auburn curls, her infectious laugh. Instead, she saw unfamiliar faces. Lots of them. Maybe I'm early, she whispered to herself, checking her phone. 2:15 p.m. The ceremony should have started by now. Excuse me, a voice said behind her. Maya turned to find a man in his 30s wearing a perfectly tailored navy suit. He had dark hair, warm brown eyes, and an expression that hovered somewhere between confused and amused. Are you here for the bride or groom? He asked. Bride, Maya said automatically. Sarah and I went to college together. Well, we were roommates actually. 4 years of microwave dinners and... She stopped herself. She was rambling. She always rambled when she was nervous. Sorry, yes. Bride sighed. You? Groom, he said, extending his hand. I'm Alex. Best man Maya. She shook his hand, noting how warm it was. Maid of honor was supposed to be me, but Sarah chose her sister instead. Which is fine. Totally fine. Family comes first and... She was doing it again. Sorry, I tend to talk a lot when I'm in new situations. Alex smiled. It was a good smile. Don't apologize. It's refreshing. Most of the people here look like they're at a funeral instead of a wedding. Maya laughed, then quickly covered her mouth. Is it okay to laugh? I never know the rules at these things. I think laughter is always okay, Alex said. Then he tilted his head, studying her. I don't think we've met before. Are you sure you're on the bride's side? Because I know most of my cousin's friends. And, your cousin? The groom, Michael. This is his wedding. Maya's stomach dropped. Michael? I thought, isn't this David Chen's wedding? Alex's expression shifted from amused to concerned. David Chen? No, this is Michael Torres and Jennifer Kim's wedding. David Chen. He pulled out his phone, typed quickly. There's a David Chen getting married today, but that's at the Rosewood Gardens, not Rosewood Estate. What's the difference? Maya asked weakly, though she already knew the answer. About 15 miles, Alex said gently. You're at the wrong wedding. The words hit her like a bucket of ice water. Oh my God. Maya's face went hot. Oh my God. I'm so sorry. I should go. I should definitely go. This is so embarrassing. She turned toward the door, but Alex caught her arm. Wait, he said. When did your friend's wedding start? Maya checked the invitation on her phone. Her heart sank further. 2 o'clock. It's 2:20 now. If you leave now and drive 15 miles, you'll miss the ceremony entirely. Maybe even the beginning of the reception. But I can't just stay here, Maya protested. I crashed a wedding. I'm a wedding crasher. That's a crime, isn't it? Or at least really rude. Alex considered this, his brown eyes twinkling. Technically, you didn't crash. You made an honest mistake. And honestly? He lowered his voice conspiratorially. This wedding could use someone who actually wants to be here. Half these people came out of obligation. That can't be true. My Aunt Gloria over there? He nodded toward an older woman in a purple hat. She told me last night she hoped it would rain so she could skip. My Uncle Frank is already drunk, and the ceremony hasn't even started. And don't get me started on the groom's college friends in the back. They're taking bets on how long the marriage will last. Maya's jaw dropped. That's terrible. That's my family. Alex shrugged. So what do you say? Stay for the ceremony at least. Your friend's reception will probably go until midnight. You can make the party. Maya knew she should leave. This was insane. But something about Alex's smile, the way he seemed genuinely happy to have someone to talk to, made her pause. I don't even know these people, she said. Neither do I, really. I just flew in from Seattle yesterday. Haven't seen Michael in 5 years. And you're the best man? Long story. Involves a guilt trip from my mother and a cancelled flight from the actual best friend. Alex held out his arm. Come on. Think of it as anthropological research. You can tell your friend all about the other wedding later. Against her better judgment, Maya took his arm. They found seats in the back row, Maya clutching her gift bag awkwardly on her lap. An older woman next to them leaned over. I don't believe we've met. Are you with the bride or groom? Bride, Maya lied smoothly, surprising herself. Old friend from college. How lovely, the woman said. I'm Agnes, Michael's godmother. Such a beautiful couple, aren't they? Maya nodded, having no idea what they looked like. The music swelled, and everyone stood. The wedding party began their procession, bridesmaids in blush pink, groomsmen in charcoal gray. Then came the bride, Jennifer, a petite woman with a radiant smile and a dress that probably cost more than Maya's car. She looks happy, Maya whispered to Alex. She does, he agreed. Michael, on the other hand. Maya followed his gaze to the groom at the altar. Michael Torres was handsome in a Ken doll sort of way, square jaw, perfect hair, expensive suit. But his smile looked forced, mechanical, like he was going through the motions. The officiant began the ceremony with the usual words about love and commitment. Maya found her attention drifting, not because the ceremony was boring, but because she was acutely aware of Alex beside her. The way he shifted slightly when the officiant asked if anyone objected, no one did. The way he pulled out a handkerchief when an elderly woman in front of them started crying. The way he caught Maya's eye during the vows and made a subtle face that said these are the most generic vows I've ever heard. He wasn't wrong. Michael and Jennifer's vows sounded like they'd been pulled from a Pinterest board. You're my rock. You complete me. I promise to love you forever. When Sarah had gotten engaged, she'd spent 3 weeks writing her vows. Maya had helped her workshop them over FaceTime, laughing and crying as Sarah shared stories about David's kindness, his terrible cooking, the way he sang off-key in the shower. These vows had none of that specificity, that intimacy. I now pronounce you husband and wife. Everyone applauded. Jennifer and Michael kissed, a brief, almost perfunctory kiss, and then they were walking back down the aisle, beaming at their guests. Well, Alex said as people stood and stretched, that was something. It was nice, Maya offered diplomatically. It was boring, Alex corrected. But hey, the reception should be better. There's an open bar. Alex, I really should go. I've already missed Sarah's ceremony. I should at least try to make the reception before. Before what? Before you spend 3 hours in your car feeling guilty? Alex stood, offering his hand to help her up. Look, I get it. You want to be a good friend. But you're already here. You might as well enjoy the free food and champagne. And, he hesitated. I could use the company. These family events are always awkward for me. There was something vulnerable in his expression that made Maya soften. Why's that? Long story. I'll tell you over dinner. We're not having dinner together, Maya said. But she was smiling. We're absolutely having dinner together. You're my +1 now. You already have a +1. Had. Past tense. She got food poisoning yesterday and flew back to Seattle. So technically, you're filling in. Maya knew this was crazy. She knew she should get in her car and drive to Sarah's reception, apologize profusely, and spend the rest of the evening making it up to her friend. But something about this whole situation, the absurdity of it, the unexpected ease she felt with Alex, made her want to stay. Okay, she said finally, but just for the reception. Then I'm leaving. Deal, Alex said, grinning. Come on. I think they're serving cocktails on the terrace. The reception was being held in a grand ballroom with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking vineyards that stretched toward the horizon. Round tables were draped in ivory linens, each centerpiece a tower of white peonies and roses. A live band was setting up in one corner, and waiters circulated with trays of champagne and hors d'oeuvres. This is fancy, Maya breathed. Michael's family has money, Alex explained, grabbing 2 champagne flutes and handing one to Maya. His father owns a chain of hotels. Jennifer's family is in tech. This is what happens when 2 wealthy families throw a wedding. They found their table, number 7, thankfully in the back, and Maya was relieved to see it was mostly empty. The place card next to Alex's read guest, which technically now applied to her. See? Alex said, settling into his chair. Fate. That's not how fate works, Maya countered. But she sat down anyway. Over the next hour, as salads were served and speeches were made, Maya learned that Alex was an architect in Seattle, that he'd grown up in San Diego, that he had an older sister who lived in Chicago with her 3 kids. She learned that he'd only agreed to be best man because his mother had guilted him into it, and that he'd last seen Michael at a family reunion where Michael had spent the entire time talking about his stock portfolio. He sounds charming, Maya said dryly. He's not a bad guy, Alex said. Just focused on the wrong things, I think. Status, money, appearances. I don't know Jennifer well, but from what I've heard, she's the same way. Then why did they get married? Alex shrugged. Because it looks good on paper? Because their families wanted it? Because they're 35 and thought they should? Those are terrible reasons to get married. I agree. Alex took a sip of his champagne, his expression thoughtful. What about you? Ever been married? Me? No. I came close once. But, Maya trailed off, surprised by how easy it was to talk to him. He wanted me to move to Los Angeles for his job. I wanted to stay in Boston for mine. Neither of us was willing to compromise, so we ended things. That must have been hard. It was. But also kind of freeing. Like, if we couldn't figure out something as basic as geography, we probably weren't right for each other. Maya paused. What about you? Engaged once, about 7 years ago. Called it off 3 months before the wedding. What happened? Alex was quiet for a moment, swirling his champagne. I realized I was more in love with the idea of getting married than with the person I was marrying. Does that make sense? Perfect sense, Maya said softly. Their eyes met, and something passed between them, a recognition, an understanding. They were both people who'd almost made the wrong choice, who'd been brave enough to walk away. The moment was broken by a loud clinking of glass. The best man speech. Alex groaned. That's me, he muttered. Wish me luck. He stood, grabbed the microphone, and cleared his throat. The room fell silent. Hi everyone. I'm Alex Torres, Michael's cousin. I know what you're thinking. Why is the cousin giving the best man speech? Well, funny story. He launched into a self-deprecating tale about the original best man's flight cancellation that had everyone chuckling. Then his tone shifted, became more sincere. I haven't seen Michael in a few years, but I remember when we were kids, he used to say he wanted to marry someone who made him laugh. Someone who challenged him. Someone who made him want to be better. Maya watched as Michael shifted uncomfortably at the head table. And looking at Jennifer today, Alex continued, I can see that she makes him happy, she makes him smile. And that's really what marriage is about, isn't it? Finding someone who brings out the best in you. Someone who sees you, really sees you, and loves you anyway. His eyes found Maya's across the room. Someone you'd never expect to meet. Someone who crashes into your life when you least expect it and changes everything. The room erupted in applause. Maya's heart was pounding. Had that last part been about her? Or was she reading too much into it? Alex returned to the table, his cheeks slightly flushed. Too much? It was perfect, Maya said honestly. As the evening wore on, Maya found herself caring less and less about Sarah's reception. She was having too much fun with Alex. They danced to the band's cover of At Last, his hand warm on her waist. They escaped to the gardens during the cake cutting, laughing about Aunt Gloria's increasingly drunk commentary. They made up stories about the other guests, giving them elaborate backstories and secret dramas. It was easy, natural, like they'd known each other for years instead of hours. Around 9 o'clock, Maya's phone buzzed. A text from Sarah. Where are you? You missed the ceremony. Are you okay? Guilt washed over Maya. She'd been so caught up in the evening that she'd completely forgotten to text. Everything okay? Alex asked, noticing her expression. It's Sarah. I need to tell her what happened. Maya stepped outside to call. The cool night air a relief after the warmth of the ballroom. Sarah answered on the first ring. Maya. Oh my God, I was so worried. Did something happen? Car trouble? Are you hurt? No, I'm fine, Maya said quickly. God, this is going to sound insane. I went to the wrong wedding. Silence. Then, you what? Maya explained the whole story. The similar names, the navigation error, arriving at Rosewood Estate instead of Rosewood Gardens. She left out the part about staying, about Alex, about how she'd been having the best evening of her life at a stranger's wedding. So where are you now? Sarah asked. Maya hesitated. Still at the wrong wedding. Actually, what? Why? I met someone. Sarah's tone shifted from worried to intrigued. Tell me everything. So Maya did. She told her about Alex, about the best man speech, about dancing in the ballroom and escaping to the gardens. She told her about the way he made her laugh, the way she felt like she could talk to him about anything. Maya, Sarah said slowly, you barely know this guy. I know. It's crazy. But Sarah, I feel like I've known him forever. Is that weird? It's very weird. And very romantic. Sarah sighed. Look, I'm not mad that you missed the wedding. I mean, I wish you were here, but I get it. Sometimes life has other plans. Just be careful, okay? Don't get swept up in the moment and do something reckless. When have I ever done something reckless? Do you want me to list all the times, or just the highlights? Maya laughed. Fair point. I'll text you tomorrow, okay? Enjoy the rest of your reception. You too. At your weird wrong wedding. They hung up, and Maya stood in the gardens for a moment, looking up at the stars. What was she doing? This was insane. She'd crashed a wedding, lied to dozens of people, and was now developing feelings for a man she'd met 6 hours ago. But when she went back inside and saw Alex waiting for her, his face lighting up when he spotted her, all her doubts melted away. Everything okay? He asked. Yeah, Maya said. Everything's good. The reception was winding down. The band had packed up, replaced by a DJ playing 80s classics. Most of the guests had left. Only the hardcore partiers and family members remaining. Maya and Alex had claimed a couch in a quiet corner of the venue. Their shoes kicked off, ties loosened. They'd been talking for hours, the conversation flowing effortlessly from childhood memories to travel stories to embarrassing moments. Okay, Alex said. Most embarrassing moment. Go. That's easy, Maya said. Sophomore year of college. I was running late to class, grabbed what I thought was my backpack, and ran out the door. Got to my English lecture and opened it to find, she paused dramatically, my roommate's bag, which contained a romance novel, 3 packages of gummy bears, and a truly alarming amount of. Don't say it, Alex laughed. Glittery body spray. Apparently Sarah was going through a phase. I smelled like a Bath and Body Works for 3 days. Alex was laughing so hard he had tears in his eyes. That's amazing. Okay, mine's worse. Impossible. Very possible. I was at my thesis presentation in architecture school. Big fancy event. All my professors there, potential employers. I'd been up for 48 hours straight finishing my model. I got to my presentation and, he winced at the memory. Fell asleep. Right there at the podium. Mid-sentence. Maya gasped. No, yes. They have it on video. My sister plays it every Thanksgiving. They dissolved into laughter, and Maya couldn't remember the last time she'd felt this light, this happy. Can I ask you something? Alex said once they'd calmed down. Sure. Why did you really stay tonight? I mean, I'm glad you did, but you could have left hours ago. Maya thought about this. Honestly, I stayed because of you. Because talking to you felt easy in a way that talking to people usually doesn't. Because you made me laugh. Because she took a breath. Because I felt like I was exactly where I was supposed to be. Alex's expression was soft, vulnerable. I felt that too. The second I saw you looking lost in the foyer, I wanted to know you. They were sitting close now, close enough that Maya could see the flecks of gold in his brown eyes, could feel the warmth radiating from him. This is crazy, she whispered. Completely, he agreed. And then he kissed her. It wasn't a dramatic movie kiss, all passion and urgency. It was gentle, questioning, like he was asking permission. Maya answered by kissing him back, her hand coming up to cup his cheek. When they pulled apart, both slightly breathless, Alex smiled. I should probably mention, I'm moving to Boston next month. Maya blinked. What? I got a job offer last week. New firm, bigger projects. I was going to turn it down because I've been in Seattle for so long, but, he squeezed her hand. Maybe this is a sign. Alex, we just met. You can't make a decision like that based on one evening with a wedding crasher. I'm not. The job is amazing. Boston is amazing. But meeting you? He tucked a strand of hair behind her ear. That makes it feel like the right choice. Around midnight, as the last guests were leaving, Michael approached their corner. He looked tired, his tie loose, his hair slightly disheveled. Alex, hey, thanks for the speech. It was good. No problem, man. Congratulations. Michael glanced at Maya, confused. I don't think we've met. Are you? Maya opened her mouth to confess, to explain the whole ridiculous situation, but Alex jumped in smoothly. This is Maya. My +1. Right. Mom mentioned you were bringing someone. Michael shook Maya's hand. Thanks for coming. Listen, Alex, can I talk to you for a second? Privately? They stepped away, leaving Maya alone. She watched their conversation from across the room, Michael speaking urgently, Alex listening with a concerned expression. After a few minutes, Alex returned looking troubled. What was that about? Maya asked. Alex sat down heavily. Michael asked if I thought he was making a mistake. What did you say? I told him that's not a question you ask on your wedding night. Alex rubbed his face. But between you and me? Yeah, I think he is. He told me he proposed because Jennifer gave him an ultimatum. Marry her or she was leaving. And he panicked. That's awful. It is. But it's also not my problem. Or yours. Alex took her hand. Can we talk about something else? Like what happens now? Maya knew what he was asking. Now I go back to my hotel. And you go back to yours. And tomorrow, we both fly home to our separate cities and stay in touch. Alex interrupted. And see each other when I move to Boston next month. And see where this goes. What if it doesn't go anywhere? What if tonight was just magic that doesn't translate to real life? Then we'll find out together, Alex said simply. But Maya, I don't think that's what this is. I think we found something real here. Something worth fighting for. Maya wanted to believe him. She wanted to believe that you could meet someone at the wrong wedding and have it turn into the right thing. But she'd been hurt before. She'd believed in magic before, and it had ended badly. I need time to think, she said finally. Alex looked disappointed but nodded. I understand. Can I at least get your number? In case you change your mind? They exchanged numbers, their fingers lingering as they passed their phones back and forth. Then Maya grabbed her shoes, her gift bag, which she definitely wasn't leaving at a wedding she wasn't invited to, and headed for the exit. She made it to her car before the tears started. Maya drove back to her hotel in a daze, the events of the evening playing on a loop in her mind. Alex's smile, his laugh, the way he'd looked at her like she was the only person in the room. But also, the absurdity of it all. The fact that she'd lied to dozens of people. The fact that she'd abandoned her best friend's wedding for a stranger. In her hotel room, she pulled up Sarah's Instagram. Her feed was filled with gorgeous photos from the reception. Sarah and David laughing, Sarah and David cutting their cake, Sarah and David dancing under string lights that looked exactly like the ones at Michael and Jennifer's wedding. She'd missed all of it. Maya called Sarah, not caring that it was 1 a.m. How did it go? Sarah answered immediately, her voice bright with curiosity. I kissed him, Maya blurted out. Oh my God. And he told me he's moving to Boston next month. Oh my God. And I panicked and left. Wait, what? Maya explained everything. The kiss, the conversation with Michael, her sudden fear that she was making a huge mistake by letting herself fall for someone she'd just met. Maya, Sarah said gently, I love you, but you're overthinking this. I'm being realistic. We don't know each other. Not really. So get to know each other. That's what dating is. You go on dates, you learn about each other, you figure out if it's real. But what if? What if what? What if it doesn't work out? What if you get hurt? Maya, those are risks in any relationship. But you know what's a bigger risk? Walking away from something that could be amazing because you're scared. Maya was quiet, letting Sarah's words sink in. Do you like him? Sarah asked. Yes. Do you want to see him again? Yes. Then stop making excuses and text him. After they hung up, Maya stared at her phone for a long time. Finally, she typed. I'm sorry I ran. I'm not good at this, the whole falling for someone I just met thing. But I'd like to try, if the offer still stands. The response came almost immediately. The offer definitely still stands. Have breakfast with me tomorrow? I fly out at noon, but I'd like to see you before I go. Maya smiled, her heart doing that fluttery thing again. Breakfast sounds perfect. They met at a small cafe near the hotel. The kind of place with mismatched furniture and coffee that came in ceramic mugs instead of paper cups. Alex was already there when Maya arrived, sitting at a corner table with 2 coffees and a basket of pastries. I didn't know what you liked, so I got an assortment, he said, gesturing to the croissants, muffins and scones spread across the table. This is perfect. Maya said, sliding into the seat across from him. In the morning light, without the romance of the wedding venue, Maya had been worried things might feel different, awkward, like they were strangers pretending to know each other. But it didn't. It felt just as easy as the night before. "I'm glad you texted," Alex said. "I was worried I'd scared you off with the whole moving to Boston thing." "You didn't scare me off. I scared myself off," Maya admitted. "I have this habit of catastrophizing, imagining all the ways things could go wrong." "And what did you imagine? That this was just wedding magic? That we'd try to date long distance for a month and realize we have nothing in common? That you'd move to Boston and we'd go on 2 dates and you'd realize I'm actually really boring?" Alex reached across the table, taking her hand. "Maya, I spent 7 hours with you last night. You talked about everything from medieval architecture to the best way to eat an Oreo. You're many things, but boring isn't one of them." "Medieval architecture came up in conversation? You brought it up while we were dancing. Something about flying buttresses." Maya laughed, embarrassed. "I really did that?" "You did. And it was adorable." Alex squeezed her hand. "Look, I'm not going to pretend I know where this is going, but I do know that meeting you was the best thing that's happened to me in a long time. And I want to see where it goes. No expectations, no pressure. Just, let's see." Maya felt something loosen in her chest, a knot of anxiety she hadn't realized she'd been carrying. "Okay," she said. "Let's see." They spent the next 2 hours talking, laughing, stealing bites of each other's pastries. Alex told her about his apartment in Seattle, his sister's kids, his dream of designing sustainable housing. Maya told him about her job as a high school teacher, her tiny apartment in Cambridge, her secret ambition to write a novel someday. "What would it be about?" Alex asked. "Honestly, I don't know. I just like the idea of creating something, of building a world from scratch." "That's how I feel about architecture," Alex said. "Every building is a story, a space where people will live their lives, make memories. It's pretty cool when you think about it." "It really is," Maya said softly, struck by the parallel. When it was time for Alex to leave for the airport, they stood outside the cafe, neither wanting to say goodbye. "I'll call you when I land," Alex promised. "You better." He kissed her, soft and sweet, and Maya felt that flutter again. That sense of possibility. The next 4 weeks were a blur of texts, phone calls, and FaceTime sessions. Maya and Alex talked every day, sometimes for hours. She learned that he was a terrible cook but made excellent coffee, that he ran every morning at 6, rain or shine, that he had a cat named Mochi who was deeply suspicious of everyone except Alex. He learned that Maya graded papers while watching reality TV, that she stress-baked cookies and brought them to school for her students, that she had a collection of ridiculous coffee mugs, each with a terrible pun. Her favorite, "Espresso yourself." They sent each other photos of their daily lives, Alex's morning runs along Puget Sound, Maya's classroom covered in student artwork. They shared playlists, recommended books, argued good-naturedly about whether Die Hard was a Christmas movie. Maya said yes, Alex said no. Sarah called every few days to get updates. "So when's the wedding?" She joked during one call. "Sarah, we've been talking for 3 weeks. I know. But you sound happy. Like, really happy? When's the last time you were this happy?" Maya thought about it. "I don't know. Maybe never?" "That's my point. Don't let fear mess this up." Maya promised she wouldn't. But as Alex's move date approached, Maya felt her anxiety creeping back. What if they didn't have chemistry in person? What if the distance had created a fantasy version of their relationship that couldn't survive reality? "You're spiraling again," Sarah said during their next call. "I'm not spiraling. I'm being realistic." "You're spiraling." "What does Alex say?" "He keeps telling me it's going to be fine. That we'll figure it out together." Then believe him. 2 days before Alex's move, he called Maya with news. "I found an apartment," he said. "It's in Somerville. Close to you." "How close?" 10-minute walk. Maya's heart skipped. "That's really close." "Too close?" Alex asked, suddenly worried. "No, not too close. It's perfect." Alex's first week in Boston was chaos. Moving boxes, furniture assembly, getting lost on the T. They texted constantly but didn't see each other. Alex wanted to get settled before their first official date. "I want to do this right," he told her over the phone. "No distractions. Just you and me." So Maya waited, her anticipation building with each passing day. Finally, on Saturday night, Alex picked her up at her apartment. He wore dark jeans and a gray sweater, and he looked nervous in a way that made Maya's heart melt. "Hi," he said. "Hi," she replied. They stood there for a moment, just looking at each other, and then they were both laughing at the awkwardness of it all. "This is weird, right?" Maya said. "We talked every day for a month, but now it feels like a first date." "It is a first date," Alex pointed out. "Technically. So what happens on technical first dates? We go to dinner. We talk. We pretend we don't already know each other's entire life stories." Alex offered his arm. "Shall we?" They went to a small Italian restaurant in the North End, the kind of place with red checkered tablecloths and candles dripping wax. Over pasta and wine, they fell back into their easy rhythm, talking and laughing like no time had passed. "I still can't believe we met at a wedding you weren't supposed to be at," Alex said, twirling his spaghetti. "I still can't believe you convinced me to stay. Best decision I ever made." After dinner, they walked along the Charles River, the Boston skyline glittering across the water. It was a perfect October night, crisp and clear, the kind of weather that made you grateful to be alive. "I need to tell you something," Alex said suddenly. Maya's stomach tightened. "Okay, I'm falling for you. Like, really falling. And I know it's fast, and I know we barely know each other in some ways, but..." He stopped walking, turning to face her. "I think I'm falling in love with you, Maya." Maya felt tears prick her eyes. "That's good," she said, her voice shaky, "because I think I'm falling in love with you too." He kissed her then, right there on the bridge, and Maya felt like she was in a movie. The good kind. The kind with a happy ending. 6 months later, Maya got a message from an unknown number. "Hi Maya, this is Jennifer, from the wedding you accidentally attended. Alex gave me your contact. I wanted to reach out because, well, Michael and I are getting divorced." Maya stared at her phone in shock. She immediately called Alex. "Did you know about this?" she asked. "Jennifer called me yesterday," Alex admitted. Apparently they lasted 3 months. Michael told her he'd only proposed because of the ultimatum. And she told him she'd only given the ultimatum because her parents were pressuring her to settle down. "That's so sad." "It is. But also," Jennifer sounded relieved. She said they're handling it amicably. No big drama, just 2 people admitting they made a mistake. Maya thought about that wedding, the generic vows, the forced smiles, the guests taking bets on how long it would last. Maybe everyone had known, even if Michael and Jennifer hadn't. "Jennifer also said something else," Alex continued. "She said watching us that night, how we laughed and talked and just enjoyed each other, made her realize she and Michael didn't have that, and that she deserved to find it." "Wow," Maya breathed. "Yeah. So in a weird way, your wedding crashing might have saved her from years in the wrong marriage." 2 years after the wrong wedding, Alex took Maya to Napa Valley. They were visiting for a friend's birthday, he said. Totally casual. Maya didn't suspect anything until he suggested they drive past Rosewood Estate. For nostalgia, he claimed. They pulled up to the venue, and Maya felt a rush of memories, walking into the foyer confused, meeting Alex, dancing in the ballroom, kissing in the gardens. "Want to go in?" Alex asked. "Alex, we can't just walk into a wedding venue. Actually." He pulled out his phone, showing her a confirmation email. "I booked it for the afternoon. Just us." Maya's jaw dropped. "What?" Alex led her inside, and Maya gasped. The ballroom was empty except for a small table in the center, set for 2 with candles and flowers. Soft music played from hidden speakers. "Alex, what is this?" He took her hands, his expression nervous and excited all at once. "Maya, 2 years ago, you walked into this building by accident. And I walked up to you, not knowing that my entire life was about to change." Tears were already streaming down Maya's face. "You were wearing a lavender dress," he continued. "You were rambling about being on the bride's side, and you looked so embarrassed, and so beautiful, and I just knew. I knew you were going to be important, Alex. I've spent 2 years falling more in love with you every single day. Learning your quirks, your dreams, the way you grade papers in your pajamas and stress bake at midnight. Learning that you're brave and kind and funny and brilliant, and that I want to spend the rest of my life with you." He got down on one knee, pulling out a small velvet box. "Maya, will you marry me? At the right wedding this time?" Maya was crying too hard to speak, so she just nodded frantically. "Yes, yes, 1,000 times yes." Alex slipped the ring on her finger, a simple platinum band with a small diamond, and stood, pulling her into a kiss that felt like coming home. I love you, Maya whispered against his lips. I love you too, even if you are a wedding crasher. She laughed through her tears. I prefer to think of it as fate. Fate works too. 1 year later, Maya stood in the bridal suite at Rosewood Estate, wearing a dress that definitely cost more than her monthly grocery budget. Sarah was with her, adjusting her veil and crying. Stop crying or I'll start crying and ruin my makeup, Maya warned. I can't help it. My wedding-crashing best friend is getting married at the scene of the crime. It wasn't a crime. It was a beautiful mistake. There was a knock on the door, and Alex's voice called out. I know I'm not supposed to see you, but I need to give you something. You absolutely cannot come in here, Sarah yelled. I'm not. Just open the door a crack. Sarah cracked the door, and Alex's hand appeared, holding an envelope. Sarah took it and shut the door quickly. What is it? Maya asked. Inside was a card. On the front, in Alex's handwriting. For the bride. The right bride. At the right wedding inside, Maya. 3 years ago, I went to my cousin's wedding expecting a boring afternoon of forced small talk and bad chicken. Instead, I met you. The woman who would become my best friend, my partner, my everything. Thank you for getting lost that day. Thank you for staying. Thank you for taking a chance on a guy you just met at the wrong wedding. I can't wait to marry you at the right one. All my love. Alex. P.S. I still think Die Hard isn't a Christmas movie, but I'm willing to argue about it for the rest of our lives. Maya was full-on sobbing now, her makeup definitely ruined. I told you not to cry, Sarah said, grabbing tissues. I can't help it. He's perfect. This is perfect. And it was. When Maya walked down the aisle 30 minutes later, she saw Alex waiting at the altar, his eyes bright with tears. She saw Sarah standing as her maid of honor, finally. She saw their families, their friends, everyone they loved gathered to celebrate. But mostly she saw Alex, the man who'd found her when she was lost, the man who'd convinced her to stay, the man who'd turned a mistake into the best thing that ever happened to her. When the officiant asked if anyone objected, the room erupted in laughter, an inside joke for everyone who knew their story. And when Alex and Maya said their vows, specific, personal vows full of inside jokes and promises and love, there wasn't a dry eye in the room. I now pronounce you husband and wife. They kissed, and the room exploded in applause. And Maya thought about how 3 years ago she'd been at the wrong wedding, and how it had led her to exactly the right person. Sometimes the best things in life happen when we get lost. Sometimes fate looks like a wrong turn, a mistaken address, a wedding we were never supposed to attend. And sometimes, if we're very lucky, getting lost is exactly how we find our way home. Jake typed a simple text to his girlfriend. I love you. Autocorrect sent it. To his boss. Panic. Then his boss replied. Jake, I need to tell you something. I'm your biological father. I've wanted to say I love you for 30 years, but I never knew how. I hired you because I wanted to know you. This message. Thank you. Jake sat in his car, hands shaking, tears falling. He called his mom. Did you know? She broke down. He wanted to be in your life. I was angry. I'm so sorry. One wrong text reunited a broken family. Sometimes, mistakes change everything.